Hi guys, this is Patsy Givenji and this is yet another amazing episode of That's How Patsy Sees It. To our returning subscribers, karibuni sana. To my new watchers and new subscribers, karibuni. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will have actually been convinced to subscribe and become a member of this beautiful community. Today's video or today's episode is going to be a story time, sorry, and I am very excited. So this episode has 4 characters, that is B, A, W, and I, and literally those characters are literally the first letters of their real names. And so yes, I don't give a fuck. And so A, B, W, and I happened to be working in a certain establishment, but then our engagement was not really it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. And this is because despite the fact that this was a community where we were dealing with it was a community, and so there was a lot of the idea was community building, the idea was holding space, the idea was cohabitation in a very peaceful and respectful manner. But it happened that this was not the case, and in my own opinion, it is because W, B, and A were actually part of the forum. So this is what happens. So in the beginning, I hope that is not captured in the background, I don't have a mic, but in the beginning, we were part of a cohort. We were part of a cohort, and all of us were literally at the same level. We were all cohort members. And so the cohort started, and that was around a certain month. And then after around 4 months, things now changed. And why did things change? I was given some sort of promotion, and so from being a cohort member, I was made the person in charge of communication. This particular cohort we were in, and the cohort that was incoming. I hope we are there up to that particular point. And so I started doing my duty almost immediately after I was given the contract, and after the contract was considered underway. And one of the assignments was, it was on a Friday. I was supposed to communicate about a meeting that was happening on Tuesday the following week. And so the next thing is also, and this is worth noting, is that we were not actually working with the Kenyan time zone, Kenyan time. And so check-ins, communications could literally be done at any particular point, and it was within everyone's right to actually interact with whatever information was shared at their most comfortable time. And that is what I did. So it was communicated on Friday, and then I realized instead of communicating on Monday, and then that becomes short notice, despite the fact that it's Friday in the evening, why don't I just, like we do any other time, communicate right now and then give everyone time to just sort of situate themselves around this particular communication? And so that is what I did. I dropped the communication in the channel we were using, and that is when hell broke loose. So out of nowhere, W goes why don't you respect people's times? Why are you treating us like secondary human beings? You are always doing that. So first things first is, this person is going off on me. I didn't even realize I had pissed them in any way. I didn't realize this person was actually holding something against me. And so it is after this communication, apparently, now this person wants to communicate that I have been pushing them to the wall, and they have felt the need to speak up because I am blatantly annoying. That is actually what this person wrote. Whatever you're doing is blatantly annoying. You're treating us like secondary human beings. And so calmly I asked them, would you have would you have preferred that I communicated on Monday that the meeting or was on Tuesday, or would you rather I communicate right now, interact with this information at your own time, even during the weekend? And then I explained, actually, I didn't have any issue. I'm not treating you as a secondary human being. I'm just trying to look out for you in terms of time. This person goes like, I don't remember asking you to look out for me. I have been doing things and I have been keeping time since the beginning of this cohort. So what makes you think I have forgotten? Valid point. However, I don't get it why you're going off on me. I still haven't, you still haven't told me what it is I have done wrong. Any other communication is usually communicated just the way I am doing. And right now I am actually well within my contract to communicate at this time, because actually we are not using the Kenyan fucking time. And I remember during one of these statements, this person addresses me using several exclamation marks. And I told this person, no, I'm actually going to stop you on your tracks, because first things first, you using double or triple exclamation is looking like you're yelling at me. And remember, I'm not even going off the way I should, because first things first is the contract actually limited me. And at the end of the day, this was not the first time. This was not the first time. And this is what I want to, the reason why when this person says I have been keeping time throughout, the reason why this is laughable is because we have actually interacted before with this person, and it was not also a very kind experience. What happened? Story within a story. It was sometime that same year, and we were beginning a residency. And so I remember before the residency began, it was an artist residency. We were all told that we should talk about things we like and things we don't like. And personally, something I don't like is people who don't keep time. And this is especially if we are in an artistic space and the quality of my art is actually dependent on the amount of effort both of us do. And so this means if you commit partially, this affects the quality of craft I am going to give at the end of it all. And so I communicated and said, hi, my name is so and so, and I think what puts me off is people that can't keep time. And that was all I said. This person has not asked questions when anyone else is speaking, but right now I have spoken and this person raises their hand and they're just like, some of us are actually neurodivergent. We have different relationships to time, and so you cannot ask that we keep time. I was silent actually. I was actually very silent. The meeting ended. Oh, I remember saying, well, though that is the ground I am standing on. And it is not an attack on anyone's personality. I am just saying keeping time is something I prefer. And if you can't keep time, I usually prefer that someone communicates, which means at the end of it all, you are actually not inconveniencing me. It was on a Sunday and we all dispersed. On Monday, we were meeting now at the venue where the residency was supposed to be starting. And I just remember everyone just coming and everyone was just making fun and saying, oh my God, as I was sleeping, I could just hear Patsy's voice. Like I am just on time because like Patsy actually mentioned it. And you know, everyone is actually trying to communicate that they found it like that is something they had, and it is not something they thought they had to prove a point about. But this person actually did not come on time, while everyone else arrived at 8 a.m. Tell me why this person came at 12 noon. Anyway, so that already started becoming a red flag. And immediately I decided I am actually not going to like have a performance that is tied to whatever they'll be doing. I'm going to do a solo performance. And so immediately after, I actually came, I worked around just doing a solo presentation, and I worked through the project. I was being helped by like, you know, the rest of the attendees and also our leaders. And Tuesday came, same thing, and I feel like the earliest this person ever came was actually that noon, because after that it was 2 p.m. And then on the day of the performance, this person shows up on stage reading a script, quite literally. And I was just like, you know what? We might be trying to hold space. This might be a space where we say we have the creative freedom, but at the end of the day, this is actually disrespect to people's time, the space, resources, and everything, and even disrespecting your audience. Because if you have to read, I believe there is a certain way you need to do it. It doesn't need to seem like you are reading a textbook or something, and you're fumbling and whatever, and the performance is just blunt and everything. Anyway, so moving on quickly back to now this particular situation where this person is sort of attacking me. And I remember immediately my supervisor actually texts me and tells me, actually, you are well within your rights, and let no one make you doubt yourself. And I remember I actually cried on that day because I don't attack people, and I'm not used to being attacked. And then I feel like the only mistake was actually this person was not called out. I don't even think anyone spoke to this person on the side. That was just let to slide. And this now started looking as if because I am on a contract and this person is not, then they have the right to speak their mind while I don't. Yeah, that is the first scenario. So this time when we are having this confrontation with this person, B has noticed what has happened. B has not said anything. W's friend has also seen it. This friend has come to my inbox and just saying, oh my God, don't worry about it, which was like very crazy, because I'm just like, I'm being attacked. You're not saying anything about it, but you want to come behind closed doors and actually offer solidarity to me. I was just like, fine. So later on, we are now close to the first cohort, like coming to an end, and we were supposed to travel to Cape Town, and everyone was in the middle of looking for passports and getting visas for Ugandans. Sorry, for Ugandans, they need visas to go to South Africa. And so the management was also trying to figure out how to work around visas. And so we had the accompaniment team. And it so happens that the accompaniment team, the Kenyan accompaniment team, one of them had like crazy connections, and this is because this is like literally they knew someone who would like help with certain things, and she knew the offices people would go to. So A comes off and says Kenyans are being favored, and this is why Kenyans are being favored. And it's not from a point of I'm giving feedback. It was a very accusatory tone. And so I remember just telling him off and just said, you know what? I don't think it is fair that you're actually insinuating that this is not a fair space and a fair ground just because the Kenyan team is lucky to have someone, not by system, it is just a coincidence to have someone that can actually show them around. And that ended. So by this time, cohort 1, they don't know yet what is happening. They don't know I am on a contract. They're just realizing that I am a little bit too vocal. I am giving like instructions here and there. I am getting access to information before they can. And so I feel like by default, everyone felt like this person is being a pick-me or something, like that she's doing too much. And so every time I would communicate something, A would sort of counter this particular thing by sending another message, literally saying the same thing that I said. And some people started asking me, what is happening between you two? Like there's tension. I had not even realized. And then I asked them why. And that is when they told me, every time you send communication, this person sort of echoes whatever you have said. And I was just like, this is actually very, very interesting. And so one random day, so I ignored it. I actually did not even address him. So one random day, I communicate something, and I feel now A has had enough because he just feels like I'm the person who says everything fast, who does everything fast, and he decided to speak his mind. And so he came at me with now it's in the group. You are like always trying to silence everyone. You are louder than everyone else. You are always the one being given opportunities. You're always the one like being given chances to like say whatever it is you feel during the learning sessions. And that is now when I had had enough. And I remember immediately asking, the facilitators don't know me. And so first things first, that means everyone has equal opportunities. And so if you are intimidated by the fact that I am able to fight for my spot, then I miss the part where that's my business. And immediately I said that I don't know what clicked in him. I don't know what he clocked, but immediately he started sending voice notes, speaking Luganda at me. And the reason why I'm saying at me is because someone else that actually understood the language told him, hey, can you stop doing that? I don't think you're being too kind. What you're saying is super disrespectful, and I think you are insulting her. And that is when I actually figured out that I was being insulted. And I'm going to be honest, because during these two scenarios, the management has not reacted yet. They are speaking to me behind closed doors and telling me you are doing the right thing. Please, like, keep on doing what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I'm just wondering, where are the safeguarding policies? How do you make sure I am also emotionally protected? Or even physically, even, because we are supposed to have a physical convening like in a few days' time. And I remember at this particular point, now I reach out directly. Now I reach out to my supervisor and I tell her I don't know what is happening. And then she tells me, this person has actually also insulted me. It is just that you guys don't know. So I don't know what really is happening. And so after this, now we escalate the matter to the community manager. And this is when now things get heated. I don't know if they had not realized, maybe they were too busy. And so this is why I don't actually want to blame them about them not speaking up. Though I feel like this is something they were supposed to be doing, pulse taking and everything. But then yes. So, and immediately after, I am also led to know that one of the cohort members had actually quit. And it is because this person was always bullying them. This is something I was oblivious about. Moving on, this person is, an email is sent to him, BCC. I am among the people that are actually on this particular thread. And this whole time, he's literally attacking me even on email. And now by this time, he has moved to my inbox, insulting me. I'm taking screenshots. I'm forwarding these voice notes to the people. And I had to block him, despite the fact that I am like sort of the one coordinating. I was just like, this person, I'm not going to engage him. And the community manager actually told me that we've actually relieved you of the duty of serving this particular person, so you are well within your rights to sort of protect yourself. And so I blocked him on email, blocked him on the platform we were using at that particular time. So after a while, I was also summoned, and we had like a very long call with one of the management team. And every time I spoke and every time I said something, this person was literally, he was shook. He could not believe it. He was just like, what? All this has been happening. And long story short is, by 2 days after we had the meeting, this person was actually kicked out of the cohort. And so you've been like through a cohort for almost 7 months. And right now you're being told, no, you will not be, actually it was 7 months, you will not be coming with us to South Africa. And the reason mostly is I actually requested that I want to join the convening virtually, because physically and emotionally it doesn't feel safe for me. And my reasons were, I have had like several altercations with people. And so came the day when it was announced that this person will not be coming to South Africa. And that is when now B speaks up. B says that, but Patsy has also confronted, he used the word bullying. Let me just actually say bully. Patsy has been bullying a person in this particular platform and she wasn't kicked out. So why is that? And I just remember asking the person, we have all communications on this particular platform. There's no way it can be deleted unless the author actually deletes it. So please, can you please scroll up and show me where I actually bullied anyone? Silence. And because now I have been accused, I'm just like, you've actually rattled a snake and now you want to be silent and make me look like a fool. So I repeat again. And I ask this person, do you actually know the history between me and W, where it began from? Because that is now the situation where I was being told I actually bullied the person just because I matched the energy and clapped back. And this person is silent again. And I remember now that is when the community manager actually came to the platform and actually wrote a message actually saying that this person should stop commenting on things they have no they don't have like full information about, and that before the decision to kick A out of the cohort was reached, several like conversations had been had and both parties had been summoned, and that was the end of it. So do you know what I was really waiting for? I was waiting for the day when we will be traveling for me to actually see if W was going to be late, because this person had indicated before that they have a different relationship with time because they are neurodivergent. And so I was waiting for that day to see if alarms will not work and if the flight is supposed to take off at 10 a.m., if this person is actually going to show up at 2 p.m. And guess who was there like several hours, literally 4+ hours before the flight time? W. And that is when I came to actually a factual conclusion that in this particular space, and this is why I even stopped saying that I am part of a queer community, because some queer people actually cause real harm. These are people who, this is a person who even later on gets it was alleged that this person tried to sexually abuse someone. And I feel like because this person shows up in this victim space saying that they're neurodivergent, this is actually the reason why they haven't been confronted just yet. And just like the other time when this person came on stage reading a script, this particular cohort required that we do a project. And a crazy amount of money was literally being given to run the project. And when time for reporting back came, this person and the friend did not have any data to back up the fact that their project actually happened. It was either the footage was lost, we held a physical convening, and so we don't really have anything. Those were always the excuses. And this is when I was just telling myself, this is a fucking pattern. This is a pattern. This is a pattern. And being queer does not make you a good person. Being queer does not make you accountable. And the second thing is, being neurodivergent is not a bad thing. Having like challenges is not a bad thing. It is not anything I would drag you by your edges about. But at the end of the day, you cannot be inconveniencing everyone. And just because you are neurodivergent, then no one should hold you accountable, because that is not how I roll. And this is mostly not just me as an activist, even me as a contractee. I don't really like people who pull me behind. I don't care what the reason is. Please communicate what your issue is, and then I can hold space the best way I can. Maybe I can give you a call. Maybe I can remind you to set alarms. But you sitting on the ground that I am going to show up at 3 p.m. just because I am relating to time differently, and then show up on stage reading a fucking script and make me look like I'm a person who is actually a joker just because everyone looks at us as a collective, that is not going to happen. I'm a person that believes in individualism, and if you being here is actually dragging me behind, I am going to be very sorry, maybe even not, but at the end of the day, I am going to be the person who will just distance myself from you. And that is how Patsy sees it. And I would really love to hear if any of you have been in a situation where you are sort of elevated because of what you do and the quality of work that you do. And somehow you are supposed to apologize. You're supposed to show up in an apologetic manner. And also, I would want to know if you are part of a minority group or maybe even a queer person specifically, and the kind of harm that queer people could actually be causing each other. But at the end of the day, because we see each other as vulnerable people, then we sort of hold back from holding each other accountable. Please do subscribe, and I'm really hoping that I'm going to see you on the next one. This is Patsy Gidenji, and like I said, this is how I see it.